Good evening, I'm Curtis Fader.
And I'm Andre Norrells. Welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. A Marietta man will spend 8 years in prison after being found guilty for placing pipe bombs on tugboats in the Ohio River.
Earlier this year, a jury found 43-year-old Nathaniel Becker guilty on 4 counts. Now, 2 of those being possession of an unregistered destructive device, and the other 2 being placement of a destructive device on a vessel. Last year, officers recovered the devices from 2 different tugboats. 3 similar devices were found on a 3rd tugboat, but since they didn't contain explosive material, Becker was not charged. In addition to the 8-year sentence, Becker will have 3 years of supervised release following his time in prison. The Southeast Major Crime Task Force conducted a search in the Plains yesterday that led to 4 arrests. Christina Blacktone, Thomas Reasoner, and Brian Wheaton had multiple warrants, including drug possession. Tessa Delancey had warrants for theft and forgery, and during the search, the authorities seized suspected fentanyl, money, and other items associated with drug trafficking and abuse. Athens County Sheriff Rodney Smith says the residence has been a focus for multiple drug investigations, and additional charges are pending.
U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown is trying to raise awareness of the national shortage of amoxicillin. Earlier this week, Brown held a press conference about the issue. Amoxicillin is used to treat illnesses ranging from ear infections to a pneumonia in children. This shortage could mean a delay in administering the antibody, which could worsen health outcomes for children. Brown recently wrote a letter to the Biden administration urging them to get the drug shortage task force to identify what's causing the shortage and possible solutions. The Ohio House approved sending $615 million to nursing homes around the state as facilities struggle to stay open. Republican House Speaker Bob Cupp said there is clear urgency for many nursing homes to get funding now and avoid closing their doors, saying it's important to have space for people in nursing homes so people have a place to go when they need it. The plan calls for the state to pay about $200 million, with the rest coming in matching federal funds. Many groups around Ohio have asked lawmakers to appropriate what's left in the American Rescue Plan Act, including advocates and affordable housing and food banks.
Good evening, I'm your weather forecaster tonight, Marissa Zarati, and we had some pretty mild temperatures today. Right now it's about 49 degrees, and it was a bit warmer earlier today, reaching about those mid-50s. With the calm wind actually really helping that weather, I was actually able to take my jacket off earlier today. However, those cloudy skies today kind of made me worry for some rain earlier, but we did not really get any rain just yet. Temperatures around us, it's about 50 degrees in Athens right now. A bit colder up north towards Columbus, about 48, and a bit warmer down south towards, it's 55 degrees in Huntington. The rain is kind of coming in through us. However, it did not hit us just yet. And later on, we will start kind of feeling those effects of the rain, and I will explain more about that in my full weather forecast.
Thank you so much, Marissa. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine and First Lady Fran DeWine announced 2 major milestones with Dolly Parton's Imagination Library of Ohio. The program provides free books to Ohio families with children under the age of 5 and has been First Lady DeWine's priority initiative for the past 4 years. More than 50% of eligible children are now enrolled in the program, which means over 360,000 Ohio children will receive a free book in the mail. Additionally, the library has officially mailed over 10 million books to Ohio children since 2019. When it started, the program was only available to certain parts of the state, but in late 2020, it became accessible to all 88 counties. First graders at East and Morrison Gordon Elementary Schools are able to engage with nature and learn the importance of growing produce through their Community Food Initiative Sprouts program.
The program encourages students to get out in the garden and actively understand where their food comes from. Newswatch reporter Brenna Nye tells us more.
Gathering and dumping dirt, picking out seeds, and creating compost. It is all in a day's lesson for Mrs. Swatzel's first grade class at Morrison Gordon Elementary.
That's been the really neat thing, is just watching them carry huge bucketfuls of things with big smiles on their faces.
All this digging, watering, and planting is part of Community Food Initiative's Sprouts program.
Sprouts is a garden-based outdoor curriculum designed for a first grade audience. We do hands-on interactive multi-sensory lessons, both in the classrooms related to garden education and outside in school garden spaces.
CFI started this program in 2019 with the goal of teaching kids how fruits and vegetables get from the garden to a plate by having them grow their own food.
The goal of the program is to bring children outside essentially, but in a really different way. It's not necessarily going outside for recess, it's going outside in the garden time and getting to see firsthand where their food comes from and to see what it's like to grow things to themselves, to get their hands in the dirt essentially.
One of the activities includes creating a compost stew for the worms in the garden by using newspaper clippings, leaves, and old vegetable scraps. The stew is then put into the composter, mixed up, and left over the winter to decompose and be ready for planting in the spring.
When they get done, they're pretty tired, but still they're happy. And when they are out here, they are engaged the entire time. They're able to go from thing to thing and explore different things that they wouldn't have had an opportunity to do otherwise.
And from a student's perspective, the best part is that they
get to help the wormies.
Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Brennan I in Athens.
Education coordinator Lucy Peloso says she hopes this program will cultivate a love of growing for the. When we return, an EPA decision could close a coal power plant in Galley County. And the Department of Labor releases a shocking jobs report. These stories and more when we return.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Hi, this is Marion Ross. Please join me and Gavin McLeod in A Classic Christmas.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas.
Saturday at noon on WOUB.
Living and thriving to 100, 120, even 130 years old. Believe it or not, this will become increasingly common over the next decade. Your challenge: make certain you can afford to live younger, longer, and stay alive and well enough to take advantage of the breakthroughs on the horizon. This is the Great Age Reboot.
Monday at 9:30 on WOUB.
He's one of the greatest film composers of all time. John Williams is joined by the prestigious Berlin Philharmonic, performing some of his most iconic music. John Williams, the Berlin Concert.
Sunday at 9:30 on WOUB.
We wish you the merriest, the merriest. You'll cheer. It's a young.
Join Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, and their very musical families in a classic holiday celebration.
Deck the halls with boughs of holly. Don't make me so lucky. That will bring us back to door.
Sunday at 3 on WOUB.
A new decision from the United States Environmental Protection Agency could lead to the end of Ohio's largest coal power plant.
The agency announced that the James McGavin plant, located in Gallia County, has been denied permission to continue dumping potentially toxic coal ash into an unlined pond. The EPA has not clarified what consequences the plant could face if it doesn't comply, but it could lead to the closure of the plant. The Boston private equity firm that owns the plant hasn't provided any comment on the decision, and the EPA has given them 135 days to find a new way to dispose of their ash. Stocks slide after a better than expected November jobs report after it defied expectations and the Federal Reserve's efforts to rein in inflation by raising insurance rates. Chris Wynn breaks down the numbers from Washington.
In the latest sign of the economy's strength, U.S. hiring continued at a robust pace in November, even as the Federal Reserve tried to cool it to help curb decades-high inflation.
The economy has been shockingly resilient to date despite all these headwinds from inflation.
The U.S. economy added 263,000 jobs last month, according to the Labor Department, even as the tech industry and media companies saw a wave of layoffs. President Joe Biden expressing optimism.
The Americans are working, the economy is growing, wages are rising faster than inflation, and we've avoided a catastrophic rail strike.
The November jobs report also showing the unemployment rate holding steady at 3.7%. Employment growth was widespread in both the goods-producing and service-producing sectors.
It means our plan to build the economy from the bottom up and the middle out. You're tired of hearing me say that, but it's working.
Average hourly earnings have risen 5.1% over the past year, but that's the opposite of what the Fed has been hoping for.
Even though we've seen wages skyrocket upward in our data, people aren't feeling that on the street. They're not feeling that when they go to the grocery store. So it's like a wage increase with no reward.
The better-than-expected jobs gains could keep the Fed hiking interest rates more aggressively for longer. In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn reporting.
5 days and 40 hours a week sounds pretty standard for a full-time job, right? But what if that standard changed? A 6-month experiment that had dozens of participating companies just wrapped up, and organizers say it looks like a 4-day work week may actually be better for business. Mike Valerio walks us through the results.
A shortened work week sounds pretty good, right? But is it good for business? Millions switched to remote or hybrid work during the pandemic. Commuting time was scrapped, meetings got shorter or were done virtually. And the question of whether or not a traditional work schedule was necessary got louder.
We just saw people that were burnt out and tired.
So 33 companies with a total of 903 employees signed up to participate in a 6-month trial with the nonprofit called 4-Day Week Global and researchers at 3 universities.
The requirements are no reduction in pay, so all employees are still getting their 5 days pay. And there must be a meaningful reduction in work time.
Organizers say the trial was an overwhelming success. None of the 27 companies that completed the post-experiment survey said they were planning to go back to the 5-day work week.
The productivity is up, not down, from 4 days versus 5. How can I possibly argue to this building of intelligent human beings that I want to put them back on 5 days?
Workers reported lower levels of stress and fatigue. Company revenue was higher compared to the year prior, and some managers reported that having an extra day off gave their staff more energy to do their jobs.
One of the big benefits we've seen is just the perspective and almost kind of freshness that people bring to work with them.
And one 2021 survey showed that 70% of workers in America would support a shorter work week, while only 9% oppose.
A separate 6-month trial is happening now in the UK with 70 companies and over 3,000 workers. Results from that trial are due in January. When we return, how a new plant in Ireton is taking recycling to a new level. That story is still ahead.
The rain has been staying away for the most part, but will it keep that way for the rest of the night? Stick around for my full weather forecast to find out. In the meantime, follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter.
Whiskey River, take my mind. Don't let her memory torture me. Whiskey River, don't run dry. You're all I got, take care of me. The road again. I just can't wait to get on the road again. The life I love is making.
Saturday at 9:30 on WOUB.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Hi, this is Marion Ross. Please join me and Gavin MacLeod in A Classic Christmas.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas.
Saturday at noon on WOUB.
Hi, I'm Rick Steves. Join me this holiday season for a colorful musical celebration of Christmas all across Europe. We'll explore festive markets, enjoy glorious local choirs, toast tasty holiday traditions with family and friends, and find some time to play in the snow. Along the way, We'll have some fun in the studio, sharing the latest tips about traveling smartly. It's my 2-hour holiday special, European Christmas.
Saturday at 5 on WOUB.
It's the greatest Irish dance show in the world. Michael Flatley's Lord of the Dance is a spectacle like no other. An incredible new generation gives a stunning performance. Michael Flatley's Lord of the Dance, The Impossible Tour.
Friday at 10 on WOUB.
Welcome back to Newswatch. And temperatures today were actually pretty mild, with a high about 53 degrees. Mostly cloudy today, though. Definitely kind of seemed like it was going to rain, but that has been kept off for the most part. The temperature is only going to drop a little bit until later tonight, but don't let that nice temperature fool you. As this rain kind of continues to come through us, we kind of avoided it for the most part, but later tonight, it is almost guaranteed we are going to get some rain showers, as well as some strong gust of winds up to 25 miles per hour tonight. So make sure that when you go out tonight, you are prepared, as well as those Christmas decorations. You definitely don't want those to be blown away for tonight at all. We have a high pressure system sitting on us, but it is going to kind of go away as a low pressure is coming in, and that is what's going to bring the rain for us that we are going to be seeing tonight. Tomorrow it is going to be feeling a little bit nicer, actually, reaching a high of almost 60 degrees. However, as those showers kind of continue out through the day, the temperature is going to drop dramatically to almost 22 degrees later tonight. High pressure is going to come behind us, and it is going to bring some clear skies for us later this week. So while this weekend it's going to kind of start kind of crummy with some rain tomorrow, Sunday is going to be getting a bit better. We will see that sunshine kind of peek through. However, Monday is going to be a start to a pretty wet week ahead. Temperatures will kind of be around 50 degrees for most of the week and then start dropping as the week goes on. Tuesday is the highest chance of showers, with 70% chance of showers, with a high of 54 that day and a low of 40. And those lows kind of just continue to climb downwards up until Friday, where it goes up to 41 degrees. So while this week does kind of seem like it's going to be a wet week, I just want to make sure you guys know that that is all I have for my full weather. Now to you, Andre.
Thanks, Marissa. Not looking forward to all that rain. More than 2,000 experts will wrap up a week of negotiations on plastic pollution today. The United Nations Environment Program held this week's meeting of the Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee in Uruguay this week. This first set of 5 meetings has the intent to draft what is intended to be a landmark treaty to bring an end to global plastic pollution. In the meeting, factions came into focus as some countries want top-down global mandates and the chemical industry wants country-by-country rules.
A new recycling company has launched its first facility in Ironton. Newswatch reporter Taylor Burnett takes us to the plant to see what exactly they're doing with all that plastic.
From these to this. The new PureCycle facility in Ironton, Ohio, just a few miles from the bank of the Ohio River, is taking plastic recycling to a new level. PureCycle CEO Dustin Olson says the company takes polypropylene plastics through a process to remove contaminants, making them usable again, just like virgin plastics.
The odors that come in with the plastic, we wash all of that away and we return back a really nice polypropylene molecule.
PureCycle's technological process was invented around a decade ago by Procter & Gamble, stemming from a need for better recycled plastic. P&G doesn't do a lot of entrepreneurial activities, so they passed on the new tech to PureCycle. Vice President of Technology Michael Weber says compared to the rest of the industry, PureCycle is somewhere in the middle on the spectrum of intensity.
Where we're doing the minimal amount of energy just to remove the contaminants that can restore the plastic back to its original state.
Olson said they do get plastic sourced from many places, part of the reason they chose the location on the Ohio River, but there's incentive to increase more recycling across the region. The facility can put out up to 107 million pounds of polypropylene plastic feedstock per year, all worth between 75 cents and $1.50, making the recyclables worth a lot more than they are in the landfill. That money goes back into the local economy, alongside around 100 manufacturing jobs the new facility brings to the region. Experts studying the use of plastics say creating a recycled product that looks, feels, and smells correct is important for creating a viable industry.
Recycling is dirty business. and being able to clean it up with an innovative process really is essential to increasing the amount of material that we recycle yearly.
The plan is expected to be operational by early 2023. For Newswatch, I'm Taylor Burnett in Ironton.
PureCycle hopes to expand its process to include more plastics in the next few years. Now, meanwhile, Ohio football has the chance to do something they haven't done since 1968. And we have Newswatch sports director Aiden Crowley joining us live from Detroit, Michigan, where the Bobcats have a chance to make history. Aiden, have the Bobcat fans taken over Detroit yet?
Thanks, guys. It might be a little bit too early to tell if there's going to be a green wave here in Detroit. And trust me, we were eager to get into the doors of Ford Field, but we have to wait one more sleep to hold you guys over when we return. We're going to take a look at the path the Bobcats took to the Motor City. But for now, stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Frank Sinatra was in his prime form for a 1967 TV special. Joined by Ella Fitzgerald.
That's why the lady is a tramp.
And musician Antonio Carlos Jobim.
The girl from Ipanema.
The concert classic.
What now, my love?
Frank Sinatra, a man and his music.
Friday at 8:30 on WOUB.
Enslaved people like Harriet Tubman were the original abolitionists.
She was very to the point. My name is Harriet Tubman. I'm here to take you to freedom. You need to follow me and we need to move right now.
She is someone who saw herself as having a purpose and who was on earth to deliver on that purpose.
Harriet Tubman, Visions of Freedom.
Tuesday at 9 on WOUB.
He's one of the greatest film composers of all time. John Williams is joined by the prestigious Berlin Philharmonic, performing some of his most iconic music. John Williams, the Berlin Concert.
Sunday at 9:30 on WOUB.
We wish you the merriest, merriest, the merriest you'll cheer. It's a young, young...
Join Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, and their very musical families in a classic holiday celebration.
Deck the halls with boughs of holly, la 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 la. Do re mi fa sol la ti do. That will bring us back to do.
Sunday at 3 on WOUB.
Welcome back to Newswatch. I'm Aiden Crowley, and I'm live outside the doors of Ford Field, where, like we said earlier, the Bobcats have a chance to make history. They haven't won a MAC championship in nearly 60 years and haven't been to this game since 2016. But if you told me that this team would be in this position one day from today, I would have a hard time believing you.
Ohio loses 21-10 to Bowling Green, and the football season for 2021 is done.
Ohio closed out last season under 500 for the first time since 2008. And after its Week 12 loss against Bowling Green, head coach Tim Albin told his team it was time to make a decision.
If you're on that second floor, you're in. You know, we're burning the ships. If you're not sure, then don't show up, because we're gonna start, the climb.
The climb began in the offseason, with a lot of the same leaders like defensive lineman Kai Caesar back, poised to create a new legacy for this group.
These guys are, why I wake up and I'm ready to get after it with these guys and just lead these guys to a championship.
The team had championship aspirations, but others around the league weren't so sure. The Bobcats were picked to finish 4th in the East in the preseason coaches poll. In their conference opener, it looked like last season all over again, surrendering a late lead against the Kent State Golden Flashes, raising questions if this was a new standard for the MAC mainstay. The doubts were quickly dashed with 3 straight wins, capped off by an emphatic 24-17 win over the defending MAC champions. the Northern Illinois Huskies, sending a new question around the league.
Do you believe in these Bobcats now?
The Bobbies kept rolling, adding wins over Buffalo and Miami, but a season-ending injury for star quarterback Curtis Rourke during the Ball State game put the Bobcats' championship dreams in jeopardy. Now with Rourke out of the picture, all eyes turn to CJ Harris for the final game of the season. The sophomore sensation answered the call, scoring 4 touchdowns in his starting debut and making the team's dream for a championship a reality.
CJ will keep to the 10, to the 5, to the house. We're coming to Detroit now.
We gonna see y'all in Detroit. We gonna see y'all. We need that ring. We need that ring.
And as the focus shifts, Albin says the game plan stays the same as it has the whole season.
This football team is going to go up there and concentrate on playing our best 4 quarters, one at a time, and enjoy it, and take it in, and try to take one more step.
For Newswatch,
We're going to Detroit, baby.
I'm Aiden Crowley.
As you can see, this is a battle-tested team, and the Bobcats look to take that final step tomorrow against a tough Toledo team. It's the age-old question, what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? The Bobcats have the top passing offense in the MAC, but Toledo boasts the top passing defense. A lot of the pressure falls on the shoulders of this man right here, CJ Harris. He'll have to take care of the football to give his playmakers a chance to find the end zone. And if the stakes weren't high enough for the sophomore, Harris is from the Detroit area. His hometown of West Bloomfield is just about 30 minutes away from Ford Field. Guys, this is going to be an exciting game, so be sure to stay tuned to Bobcat Showcase on Twitter for all your championship coverage. Guys?
Thank you so much, Aiden. Now, I know that I'm going to have all my eyes peeled on that screen watching the Bobcats tomorrow night. Aren't you, Andre?
Most definitely. Thanks, Aiden, and get back to us safe. Now, for the Bobcats that will be watching the game here in Athens, Marissa will give you a look at your weather.
Weather for tonight is definitely going to be super rainy, and that's going to carry into for tomorrow as well. So Saturday, we will have showers for most of the day today, and then because of those rains, we're going to drop it down all the way into the 20s, with reaching a low of 22 degrees. For this week, it's going to definitely be a very rainy week ahead of us, with Tuesday having the highest chance of rain, and then every day after that also has a chance of rain. So just be prepared for the following rainy week that we have ahead. That is all I have for my full weather. Now back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Marissa. Now, today is a bittersweet day for our anchor, Curtis, here. Can you tell us why?
This is my last day here at the station. It feels like yesterday, October 2nd, 2019, was when I first made my debut here. And I am just so thankful to be able to serve the Southeast Ohio community. But like all things, it's time for me to move on. And to all those people that sit in this chair after me, I'll leave you with these words of advice. Work hard, tell the truth, never be boring.
Never be boring. Now you're not the only senior graduating. Another one of our directors is working on our show right now, actually. Andrew, we actually have a shot of him maybe. He's leaving us too. We look forward to seeing what you guys do in your future. Andrew and Curtis, we look forward to seeing what you do. Well, that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Andre Norris.
And I'm Curtis Fader, and stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. Now, Newswatch will return in the new year, January 23rd. I won't. But you can always remember that you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night, and so long.
Support comes from Dean Heating and Cooling. Stay warm this winter with energy-efficient TempStar heating. Dean Heating and Cooling provides HVAC services and installation in the Athens area, featuring TempStar quality you can feel. Support comes from Buckeye Hills Regional Council, helping older adults and people with